Obviously we all have our own association with the word engineering. For many of you, you may be engineers. You may be, and there's so many different types of engineering, right? From civil engineering to structural engineering, biomedical engineering to electrical engineering to, all over the gamut. But really I want to kind of chunk it down to the level of realize that every single one of us, we're all engineers. And in a way, anytime that we're faced with a problem and we got to go and come up with a solution, then we are being an engineer. And coming up with that abstract solution, actually Joey, my friend backstage, he kind of read this definition for me, and he said it's like the action of artfully, I think it was creating something or bringing something to life. So the action of artfully bringing something to life, we'll take that. Bringing something to reality. That's engineering. We all do that. And the next really big thing, the first big thing that comes to mind for me when I think of engineers, I think of heroes. In particular, two heroes, in particular my family. My dad, my grandpa. My grandpa was an electrical engineer who back in the 60s for almost for a full year was working as a lead engineer on what kind of became Magnavox's first fax machine. And my dad then sort of followed in his footsteps. It's interesting, my dad, he was really academically, he was not doing too hot when he left high school and went to college, was focused on wrestling and football and kind of followed those same paths a little bit myself, but he got injured and had left school. It's kind of failing out of school. Went in the military straightened him out. He went back to school and studied electrical engineering, and then completely shifted his mind and went from kind of worst to first, taking on one of the hardest degrees that there was to go and take on, but something that was super exciting. And I think him having that mindset of the electrical engineering helped instill in me just this attitude that no matter how big the problem was that we were taking on with figuring out how to adapt things, of how do I do this, how do I do that, we could figure it out. He always, that spirit of engineering was so important in the early goings of my life and still is today.